Once upon a time, in a sky far above the tallest mountains, there floated a lighthouse among the clouds. It was not an ordinary lighthouse, for it did not guide ships on the sea. It guided birds, butterflies, and even flying fish through the misty sky. The Lighthouse Keeper was a kind old owl named Captain Olwyn, who wore tiny gold-rimmed glasses and a navy blue jacket with silver buttons. Captain Olwyn took great pride in his work. Every morning, he polished the lighthouse's crystal lamp until it sparkled like a star. At night, he carefully adjusted the light to beam softly, not too bright to scare the little creatures, but just enough to help them find their way home. The clouds around the lighthouse were fluffy and soft, and they shifted colors with the moods of the sky, sometimes rosy pink, sometimes golden, sometimes deep twilight purple. One evening, as Captain Olwyn prepared the light for the night, he noticed something unusual, a cloud that shimmered in a strange green hue. Perching at the edge of the balcony, he peered through his brass telescope. To his amazement, he spotted a tiny ship sailing through the sky, carried by hundreds of balloons. It was something he had never seen before. The ship drew closer, and from it waved a small girl with bright red hair and a sparkling blue scarf. She was steering the balloon ship with ropes and whistles. Her name was Elara, and she was an explorer of the unknown. Elara had traveled over deserts, oceans, and forests, but now she dreamed of mapping the skies. Captain Olwyn hooted warmly and helped her anchor her balloon ship to the lighthouse. He served her tea made from starlight blossoms, a rare flower that only bloomed at the edge of the night. As they sipped tea under the twinkling stars, Elara shared her dream: to find the legendary Sky Garden, a place filled with floating islands covered in the most beautiful plants and animals never seen by people below. Captain Olwyn's eyes twinkled behind his glasses. He had heard of the Sky Garden in old songs sung by nightingales, but no one had ever found it. He agreed to help her. Together, they studied ancient sky maps, followed the paths of migrating birds, and listened to the whispers of the wind. The next morning, they set off together, Elara in her balloon ship and Captain Olwyn gliding beside her on silent wings. They traveled through fields of cotton candy clouds, navigated storms that roared like dragons, and rested atop rainbows. Each night, they camped in the sky, telling stories and laughing under the stars. After many days, they reached a place where the clouds parted to reveal a dazzling sight: floating islands dotted the endless blue, covered in gardens that shimmered with every color of the rainbow. There were waterfalls that poured stardust, trees that played music when the wind passed through their leaves, and creatures that seemed stitched together from dreams: golden deer with wings, singing foxes, and giant butterflies big enough to carry a child. Elara and Captain Olwyn landed gently on the nearest island. They were welcomed by the caretakers of the Sky Garden, a council of wise, gentle dragons who had lived there for thousands of years. The dragons explained that the sky garden appeared only to those with hearts full of wonder and kindness. Elara asked if she could map the sky garden to share it with others who dreamed. The dragons agreed, but only if she promised to protect its secret, ensuring only the pure-hearted could find it. Elara eagerly promised. For many moons, Elara drew detailed maps and made notes of all the magical creatures and plants. Captain Olwyn helped by keeping the skies clear with his lighthouse's magical light. Together, they became legends among the creatures of the skies. When the time came to leave, the dragons gifted Elara a single, shimmering seed from the sky garden. "Plant this where dreams are born," they said, "and another garden will grow." Elara and Captain Olwyn returned to the floating lighthouse. As a final adventure, they planted the seed atop the highest cloud. There, a tiny island began to sprout, promising a future filled with dreams, wonder, and new adventures for anyone willing to seek them. And high above the world, where only dreamers dare to look, the light of the lighthouse still shines, a beacon not just for travelers, but for hearts full of hope. Good night, sleep well,